Hey, hi, hello, K-Dude85 here, and today we are going to go over the problems with the heart's valves. So we're going over 5 problems today: aortic stenosis, mitral regurgitation, bicuspid or aortic valve, mitral stenosis, and aortic insufficiency. So let's stop waiting and we'll get into it. Oops. So the first problem we're going over is aortic stenosis. And aortic stenosis is the calcium buildup on an aortic valve. I don't know why there's a hole here. It must be a bug with complete heart. So that's calcium buildup. It doesn't allow the aortic valve to open fully, and it leads to shortness of breath, chest pain, and fainting spells. Now remember, the aortic valve is where oxygenated blood goes to the body, and these symptoms can happen because of that job, and the aortic valve cannot fulfill it if it has aortic stenosis. And we can simulate this calcium buildup with the growth function, and this is a very crude model, but that shows the calcium buildup. And usually there would be small holes that would, because the valve does open, but not that much. But that's a crude diagram. Not good, but not bad. Okay. Now we'll go to the next problem, which is mitral regurgitation. So this is the mitral valve, see, aka mitral valve. And the mitral valve is where oxygenated blood from the lungs goes to the left ventricle ready to be pumped into the body. So mitral regurgitation is when there's a hole in the mitral valve. And then this results into the blood flowing back from the left ventricle to the left atrium. So some of the blood which is ready to go to the body goes back into the atrium, and that goes back into the ventricle. This leads to shortness of breath because there is some blood that is in a cycle and not enough blood is going to the body. Okay, third problem, bicuspid aortic valve. So a bicuspid aortic valve is when two leaflets of the aortic valve fuse together. We are back at the aortic valve, and this means less blood flows to the aortic valve because the valves don't open that efficiently as three leaflets opening rather than two. And this leads to less blood going to the body, and that leads to shortness of breath and other symptoms like that. Fourth problem, mitral stenosis. We're back at the mitral valve. And mitral stenosis, like aortic stenosis, is a calcium buildup on the mitral valve. It causes a smaller opening of the mitral valve, and it leads for shorter blood flow, and it has symptoms, as we have discussed in aortic stenosis, like that. Now, again, using the growth feature, we are going to simulate mitral stenosis. This is very crude, as again, I'm reiterating that. But that would be how like mitral stenosis would look like. Okay. And the last one is aortic insufficiency. And this is when the aortic valve doesn't close properly. And this leads to blood leakage because some blood goes back into the left ventricle. And like how we talked about with mitral regurgitation, some blood is left in a cycle and it doesn't go to the body, and this leads to shortness of breath and like that, since the blood doesn't leave the heart. Okay, let's recap. So we covered aortic stenosis, which is a calcium buildup of the aortic valve, mitral regurgitation, which is a hole in the mitral valve, bicuspid aortic valve, which is when two leaflets of the aortic valve fuse together, and mitral stenosis is when calcium builds up on the mitral valve, and aortic insufficiency is when the aortic valve doesn't close properly. Okay, that is it for this video. Thank you, and K-Dude85 is out. I'll see you in another video, but for now, K-Dude85 out. Bye-bye.